Your boy Matt. One of the things about military culture, which I find just demonstrable, it frustrates me so much, is that the culture is built around the idea that there's someone above you who can provide the incentives and behaviors for how you should be as a person. And also the culture and values of the institution is such that they want to be able to make sure that each person in that chain of command is susceptible and obedient to that chain of command. So they'll have these beliefs such as you should not expect that you should be treated well, or someone who has a higher rank, that's an indication of competence in some way. They're two different measures, mate. It's a very imprecise measure, actually. In management theory, they have this theory that people get promoted to their level of incompetence, because hypothetically, if you have in a pure meritocracy, so imagine this is the system working. If it's built on the most autistic interpretation of a meritocracy, what would happen is that the person who proves themselves proficient in every level of management, and because they prove they're self proficient, that they are in that level of management, they're going to be a good fit for the next level. Is that, well, if you're going off that logic, the person at the top, everyone at the end of their career gets promoted to the level where they are incompetent. And that means none of the bureaucracy works. Okay? And that's also a good description of the military to a large degree. They try to get around that a bit in the Australian Army by, it's intentionally held as top heavy, because they're wanting to reward people who work their guts out to an insane degree and become insanely competent. But their definition of competence in the Australian Army, this is something I noticed in particular, in the Australian Army, the competence, it's in doing that, you stop people below you doing your jobs, because the idea is that because you're top heavy, because you are so good at this thing, but the thing is that you're good at is clogging up the bureaucracy, right? That's what you're good at, because you've made yourself that you are the cog. You are so on the ball with everything you are doing, so insanely on the ball with everything that you are doing, that you are now the cog in the machine. And there's this tendency, particularly in army, I've noticed, right? This is just where the bad shit happens at that more senior colonel level because everything in the military is always taught that everything is at this insanely high standard. You can't, they have the room clearings, and they have this thing where it's you have to be 1000% on the ball with every fucking thing at every one time, with complete discipline. That's what is considered excellence. Is that promotes this massive over-management, and also a situation where bad management strategy is rewarded because it's seen as the good thing, right? There needs to be more freeing, and this is the biggest issue which I have with Michael's patriarchy, is that he's programmed in this hierarchical thing. He's programmed that people need to be super humble, because if they're humble and they're not asking for what they're worth, that means that they can't be manipulated, which is what those beliefs come from within the army. That's why those beliefs became the idea of the perfect soldier. And because there are so many men like Michael who want to be these perfect soldiers, we end up, and that's the model of excellence within the religion, which is the military, you end up with shit where everything's top heavy, and you end up in a situation where managerial competence and using management strategies which are proven to work in different industries cannot be applied in that military setting. Alright, ran over. Have a nice day.